Hi, I'm in New York City. I'm in the very liberal Upper West Side, and I have a question about Ro Khanna. This is a little bit more for Dan. Sometimes I think he's getting it, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, why do you do that? So he just tweeted yesterday, our party hungers for moral leadership. Let us oppose military aid used to kill civilians in Israel and during a mass starvation and recognize a Palestinian state. Let us stand up for the rights of immigrants. Let us not abandon trans kids. It's time to stand up for human dignity. And while I'm not against being moral, I have just found one of the reasons I'm a disaffected Dem is because of all this moral superiority nonsense that come from the Democrats and lord it over everybody else. And it just becomes preachy and annoying. And so both the combination of that preaching and then the particular topics he's choosing to, potentially elevate where he could go for more of a populist thing and maybe have more support. I'm just wondering, like, who's advising him, or what do you think? He goes in and out of being a bit populist and then getting a bit on this sort of social justice issue stance.
Very sophisticated question, Deborah, because you're right. There's a lack of through line for some. Dan.
Yeah, and I'll be curious too if what Mark has to say, because Mark knows him, I think, very well. I think there's a difference between clarity and superiority. One of the issues that Democrats are accused of is we're too wishy-washy on issues. So I may not agree with some of the statements that you just read, but I think what Ro may be trying to do is to say, look, you don't have to wonder where I stand, because so many Democrats won't answer trans kids, or they won't answer the Israeli-Palestinian question, right? Like, see Kamala Harris. So he may be attempting to say, hey, 2028ers, you don't have to ask where I stand. How about you? Again, that would be kind of a political move. I will say this. I do think Ro gets a lot of this. He has spoken out about the party's need to change its positions on some issues. Again, might not be the issues that I would choose there in some of those statements, but that, Mark, unless you disagree, I think he's probably saying, I'm clear, everyone else, you're not.
Yeah. Sean.
I sort of appreciate his voice in this conversation. I just don't see how he honestly believes he's got and part of it is just the platform being in the House. And maybe that's just an old school mentality, but I don't see how he breaks through. And I think he's doing the best he can on the platform he has, but he's not AOC. So anyway, I'll be interested to see what he ends up doing, because I think from just a mechanics standpoint, I don't see how he has a path forward beyond in terms of running for president.
But Sean, isn't that kind of what that tweet does, though? It gets out there, it gets people talking about a House member,
Yeah, I've never, and again, I will admit my own bias on this, but I just don't think that House members have a big enough platform or apparatus. AOC maybe, but she's, sort of, even then, I would doubt her ability to take it up to play in the real majors. It's easy to tweet and to say and do a viral Snapchat video. It's another thing to have a full national apparatus.
I'll address the presidential piece, and then Deborah, your question just about his moorings. So historically, Sean's right. House members, do not win nominations, and they actually don't typically do. They don't get to the finals, right? They don't win primaries and caucuses. Here's some reasons why this might be different. First of all, he'll raise money. He'll raise more money. He's already got money in the bank, but he'll raise more money, including, I think, with a super PAC than your typical House candidate. Number one, and that matters a lot, because most presidential campaigns end because they run out of money, not for any other reason. Number two, he's got social media game. And again, in the age in which we live, why didn't House members not do well before? One reason was because they wouldn't get booked on Meet the Press, right? They wouldn't be treated well. And in the media, he doesn't need that. He can go past the media with social. Two is he'll do anything. He's like very few people in the Democratic Party. He'll go on any podcast, even conservative podcasts, and so he's going to get more name ID that way. Three is he's got a biography that can potentially break through. Born in Pennsylvania, born in the Rust Belt, now representing Silicon Valley. Five, he's very smart. You may not like his politics, not everyone likes his politics, but he's smarter than most House members, I say, having known a few House members over the years. And then lastly,
He's actually probably smarter than senators too.
yeah, some senators. And then lastly, you've heard me say this before. In my experience, if you want to be nominated, you need to wake up every day and you say, what are the 10 things I need to do today to get elected? And then you need to do them all. And if you don't get them all done that day, you need to bring them on the list the next day. And if one of them is you need to use your teeth to chew through the handcuffs that are around your ankle, you need to do that. And I think of all the candidates in the field, he's got almost as much fire in the belly as anybody else. And then lastly, we don't know what the early states are, but early states are going to eventually emerge. And I think he will wear well in early states. I think he will be a better early state candidate than most House members are, in part because people will have heard of him. They'll have seen him on TV. And that helps in the early states. There's the irony and the paradox of this is people in Iowa, and New Hampshire, and South Carolina, they want to hang out with someone they've seen on TV. And so for all those reasons, I think he could do better than your typical House candidate. Michael, write that up. Let's make that a piece. Just did that off the top of my head. Now, if you look at everything he's for and against, it's a lot like Donald Trump, which is to say, Donald Trump 2015, 2016, he's for party orthodoxy on some cases, and he's against it in others. And he's a Bernie, he backed Bernie Sanders, but he's a big believer in the free market. Like there's a lot about him that's iconoclastic. And I think if you take individual tweets, individual statements, you'll be confused at times about where do you put him on the spectrum. So on Israel, is he for Israel or against Israel? I think he's got a more nuanced position than that. And I think our politics and our media culture often punishes people with nuanced positions because it doesn't make sense. There's cognitive dissonance about it. I don't know that that'll help him get elected, but that seems to me how he takes positions on things. And he's not afraid to change his mind. And that's also unusual. Now, when Donald Trump changes his mind, he pretends like he never took the first position, right? Just all of a sudden he's for B. He used to be for A. I never was for A. A, forget A. A's horrible. Khanna will acknowledge sometimes, well, I was for A and now I'm for B. And he'll explain why. Again, I'm not sure that'll be rewarded, but it might be because it's different and it is more authentic than most. And he is an authentic guy compared again to most members of Congress in my experience.
Can I share one other quick thing? Because one person responded to this and I thought it was good advice. I don't even know who this Tim Lewis person is. He said, Ro, if you want to reclaim moral authority, you have to do it on populist issues, not fringe ideological crusades about gender conversions and undocumented immigrants. Healthcare costs, UBI, good food, clean water, environmentalism beyond climate change, housing, wages, government accountability. There's so much meat on the bone, but the Democratic Party would rather die defending a molehill than summit the mountain. So
it's interesting. I think my sense is his preference would be to talk about those issues. The problem is the media is not interested in those issues. And if you want to be in the news cycle, he's probably got the biggest pop of celebrity or prominence on Epstein. I think that's probably the thing he's done that's gotten the most attention. Maybe I'm forgetting something. I don't think he wants to run for president on Epstein transparency. But if that's in the news, that's unfortunately.
Deborah, what did he tweet about immigration? What did he say?
And I mean, none of these, I don't be against someone being moral, right? It's more the sort of, lording it. Just to stand up for the rights of immigrants. I mean, it wasn't anything.
All right. But you know what, though? That is now the Democratic position on standing up for, like, once you get past criminals in the border is more popular now than the Trump view. And that is in survey after survey after survey after survey. So that statement, while people may say, oh, the Democrats are such a loser, not so much right now.
Yeah,
it's not.
Great point. Great point. Deborah, thank you. Grateful to you for coming on. Thank you. Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two Way community, never miss a clip. And you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.